Commissioners. We're glad each of you are here. We'd like to ask at this time if you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, if you would just please turn it off until we get through with the meeting. If you'll join us for an invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day that you've given us, and once again we just thank you that we have the opportunity to come together and take care of the business of this county. And dear Lord, we just ask as always that you guide our thoughts, our words, our actions, that first and foremost they'll bring glory to you, but be in the best interest of all of us who live here and call Meriwether County home. We ask that you be with everyone who is here tonight and give them a safe trip back home, and we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business will be to adopt the agenda, and we do have several additions. So if you'll bear with us a minute, we're going to go under new business for number 10, and it will be the lease agreement with the City of Luthersville regarding the fire department. Number 11 will be right of entry on Joe Anthony Road. Number 12 will be the deed to the IDA to convey 20.067 acres of land. Number 13 will be a request for assistance for the census program. Number 14 will be change orders on resurfacing project. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Next, we have the minutes from our August 9th, 2017 meeting. We've had the opportunity to read over these. Are there any corrections or changes?
Madam Chair, any corrections were minor, and Ms. Allison's going to take care of that, so I'll move to accept.
All right, do we have a second? All in favor? All right, thank you. We come now for our municipal comments, and we have a couple of our cities represented. We have Mayor Glover from Greenville. All right, thank you for being here. Mayor Prater from Warm Springs.
Things continue to move forward in Warm Springs. I have qualified for re-election for 4 years. Last Monday night this month, we're going to open our work session to the DDA, the Downtown Merchant Association, and others to hear presentations from George Power and the program they're working with, and also begin work on our company's plan.
Thank you. Any other cities? Okay, we'll move on to the constitutional officers, and I believe the only office represented is Sheriff's Office.
We have nothing, Madam Chair.
Anybody else? All right, we'll go ahead with our department heads, and we'll start over here with Skip.
Nothing this.
All right, Brand.
I don't report.
Tyrell.
Nothing this time.
Sean.
Yes, I do.
And Sean's coming up, today is his 3-month anniversary.
Well, just as Mr. Theron just said, I've been here 3 months as of today. We've done a lot of things at the shelter since I've been here. I gave all y'all a little packet earlier. Calendar of events for September and October. September doesn't really have much on there. October has a lot on there, every single weekend. We just added today, we're going to do the off-site adoption at Lake Meriwether for the disc golf tournament they're doing October 14th and 15th. They've also liked our ideal of a movie night so much, they've asked us to come out and set up our movie screen and do a movie night for them that night.
That same weekend you're talking about?
The weekend of October 14th, 15th, yes. Our movie night for September is going to be September 16th. We're going to show the Secret Lives of a Pet. Yeah, Secret Lives of a Pet's Life. So everybody come out, bring everybody with you. We had 44 people show up at our last movie night. To me, I thought it was a real good turnout. We had one adoption done that night. Sold hot dogs, popcorn, water, lots of stuff, and everybody seemed to have enjoyed it. We done our offsite adoption at Madam Chair's feed store this past weekend. We had 4 adoptions at offsite adoption. In the packet I gave y'all, it's everything since June the 1st. We've had 184 animals turned in to the shelter since June the 1st. As you go through there, it'll show everything that we've adopted. We've had 67 adoptions since June 1st, 12 returned to owners. We've had 63 go out on the puppy pipeline transport. And then the saddest part is we've had 10 that we've had to euthanize, but they were all because of very bad medical reasons. We've had animals that have been treated for heartworms since I've been here, gotten good homes. So we're doing a lot of good adoptions and stuff. And that leads into, I want to thank everybody for helping us with everything they've helped us with. I'm going to ask Tracy to come up here and help me for a minute, if you don't mind. We've got several people around that's helped us a whole lot with the shelter, and there's no way we could have done what we've done without everybody's help. So it's not a whole lot, it's just a little certificate of appreciation, what we want to give some people for helping us. First one is Commissioner Brian Threadgill. We appreciate all your help and your support with everything. Stay up there for a minute because we want to get a picture, please. All right. The next one is Chairperson Beth Neely Hadley. And we've even got our nice little new logo in the middle of the certificate. Vice Chairman Alfred McCoy. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Shirley Hines.
I'll move that.
Mr. Tharangay. Just so y'all know, for anybody who wasn't there, Mr. Theron came out at our movie night. He cooked all of our hot dogs for us, and he can actually handle his grill without catching anything on fire.
We've seen that before.
Commissioner Mary Gray. We want to get a picture too, Mr. Theron.
Yeah.
Tyrell Johnson. Now, just so you know, Public Works is super busy, but every time we call them because we have an issue or grass or anything, Tyrell's right on it and gets somebody over there right away for us. Jennifer, let's get a picture, please. Mr. Gary Skip Richmond. Skip has spent many hours over at the animal shelter, helping us get a lot of stuff taken care of. Mr. and Miss Donald and Valerie Cuddy. Mr. Cuddy has come by the shelter just to say hello or something, and end up going to Fairburn to pick up a truckload of dog food for us. Mr. Bill and Miss Gail Coffey. just so y'all know, Miss Coffee got out there when it was 96 degrees and trimmed up our hedges. And last but not least, Mr. Brent Jones.
I knew I'd get it, 'cause I printed them.
You get the phone to get pictures. Get his phone to get pictures.
Do it all, right?
Yeah.
Right. You get your phone to
I tell you what we're gonna need to do, probably a panorama picture, just because there's so many folks. It's over there on the seat right there.
I'm gonna get y'all squeezed together.
Okay.
I can't shoot the whole side.
I don't squeeze very well.
That's all right, Rick, you just bend down.
I get the back.
There you go.
There we go.
Lord, I need a small lens. Y'all gonna have to squeeze, I'm sorry.
We try sideways, that helps.
Yeah, it helps, just tighten the one over.
Come on, there we go.
Y'all got to tight and slip out. Ain't nobody gonna bite nobody, tighten up. All right, here we go. On the 1, 2, 3 now. One more time. 1, 3. I can't see everybody. That's that is there's that. All 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tracy, get a picture real quick.
Squeeze back together.
I was beginning to think that it was,
Squeeze back together.
We got one here so we can put it on page now.
okay. Squeeze back.
Red, you down here. Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
I had a big lens on here. I was shooting softball.
Yeah, everybody? Okay, great.
Again, I just want to tell everybody thank you for all the continued help and support with everything.
Somebody zoomed in and said, oh, they had it on Sunday.
I brought my other lens.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Sean, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank y'all for all your help.
Good looking certificate, though. It's a good looking certificate.
Calm down, Brent.
Thank you, Sean. We appreciate what you and your staff has done. Looking forward to good things. I'm going to stop with the department heads just 1 minute. Ginger from Luthersville is here. Do you have anything from the city?
I don't have anything to report at this time, but thank you for calling.
Thank you for coming. All right, let's see who we got next. Keith, anything from? Okay. Susan? Okay. Carolyn from the chamber.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I have a few quick things. One, I want to remind you all that we kicked off our Leadership Meriwether program this past Friday, and we have several participants that are present this evening, and we're glad to have everybody. It's a very dynamic group of people, 18 total, so we're looking forward to a great year. Also want to remind you about the business after hours at Warm Springs Medical Center on September the 12th at 5:30. They're very much looking forward to that. I also want to give you some status report and actually closure on a couple of our tourism projects that we've been working on for quite a while and talking about perhaps even longer. But this is our Manchester mural. So I hope you can get enough of an impression of what it represents, but basically on the left-hand side it shows the historical perspective with Roosevelt intending to be depicted as looking into the future, which is represented on the right-hand side, his future. There will be another panel added, the storefronts there. We added we added 2 that were actually 3 from the actual downtown Manchester, which was the Georgia Shoe Shop, Vic's Salon and Styles and Cut, something like that. I'm sorry, Vic, I'm sorry, I don't have it right. But anyway, and then the Wheeler's Drugstore, and then there's a sort of a generic market there represented. So, and we actually researched and found the very first movie that was shown at the theater, which is called Diamond Gem, and of course you can't see it in that photo, but there was an actual depiction of the movie poster attached to the inside of that marquee area. So we're very proud of that. And I say essentially finished, wait just one second, because the city is still going to be adding another panel to the left-hand side because there are a few people they want to put on there. Stuart Woods in one of his books, M.B. Guy Jr. and Willie Holloway. Willie Holloway, for most of you who grew up in the area, know he's a very iconic representation of our police force and easily recognizable by anyone who has any connection with Meriwether County. So once that gets added, we'll be finished with that. Our butterfly garden in Woodbury is also complete, and as you know, this one was done, Woodbury took our basic butterfly garden and ramped it up a little bit, literally. They have a tiered garden and they have concrete wall, support wall. They have added benches, and then in the middle there you see the water feature. So that is an actual running water, and as you know, water tends to attract people. And so, boys especially, and I think the next one is the little girl, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, let's see. Don't have a little girl? Okay, no girl. Okay, we had a little girl, anyway. But as you can see from the water feature, it is an attraction for the downtown area there. The citizens of Woodbury have worked very hard to get that in place. There will be a dedication ceremony probably in a month or so, which of course you all will be invited to. But Mr. Sibley, who's sort of the project manager, told me this morning that they're already trying to figure out a way to keep the little kids from assuming that's a climbing wall and climbing all over it. So, but anyway, we're very proud of those two projects, and thank you again for your support. I'm sorry I don't have plaques for anyone, but I certainly appreciate your support, and if I had thought about it, I would have done the same thing. Actually, now you're going to be inundated with plaques. I also want to share with you that I've had an opportunity over the past month to be invited to two nearby counties. One is in Harris County. I was invited to speak to their Rotary Club, and when I say I was invited, I'm actually being invited to represent Meriwether County and its tourism journey, which I think speaks well for the reputation that we have gained within our community, respective communities. Harris County, as you know, couldn't be more unlike Meriwether County in terms of their poverty level, their median income, their population growth, not decline, and most of all, their passage of T-SPLOST. So they have beautiful roads in addition to all these other assets. So by comparison, the following week I was invited to come down to Macon County, which their county seat is in Oglethorpe, and do a presentation there because they are preparing to request a tourism resource team visit. So they were wanting to know what kinds of things should they be gearing up for and be preparing for in order to be ready for the tourism team visit. And then Macon County is quite the opposite, much more opposite of Harris County than we are, in that they have a larger population decline, lower poverty, and much more socioeconomic decline than we do. However, they also were in a region which passed T-SPLOST because they're in the Muskogee County region, which I did not realize. But in spite of all their rural undevelopment, they got some pretty roads. So, but anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I just wanted to share because what I was invited to is something I know you all have talked about, and that is they have a quarterly meeting where they're bringing all of their folks together, meaning their mayor, city council representatives, sheriff's department, chamber, family connection, basically all the people that you would think of as kind of the key areas in the county, and they meet once per quarter, and they've been doing this for about 4 years. So this is one thing that we could learn from them. And what they do is give everybody a chance. They have a program and a dinner, and then they give have everybody stand up and give some updates, much like we do in here, but it's a much more informal networking, sharing opportunity. So it's just something that I wanted to share with y'all, so you can kind of see how other people do it. And then on the back is some of the announcements that they were very proud of and shared. And I think that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other departments represented that I've missed? We do not have need for a public hearing, and we'll move on to old business. The first one is the second reading on the engine braking ordinance.
I need Darren to explain what engine braking is a little bit more. I mean, he does a much better job than I do. This is ordinance number 2017-2. It's an ordinance to provide for the prohibition of engine or jake braking without emergency or necessity within the county of Meriwether, to provide for severability, to establish an effective date, and for other purposes. And this is the second reading.
This is required, the ordinance hearings, in order to be able to post this. And I know we've had some complaints from citizens, particularly late at night when the trucks come in, and instead of using just the mechanical brakes, they use the engine, which creates the rumbling sound. And the city of Greenville has already passed the ordinance. They already have no engine braking, and we will do this in the county. But GDOT requires us to be able to have an ordinance in place. I talked to Dan Woods today. Once the board passes this, we'll be able to get with them and get approval to install the signs, and we'll sign those in various locations around the county. So,
Can we have a motion to accept the ordinance regarding the engine braking ordinance?
So moved.
We have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Next is the appointment to the Board of Assessors.
We need to table again at this time.
This will be excuse me, this will be to fill an unexpired term. So we will
That's
table this.
correct. We have a motion to table it.
Just like it.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. Next is the appointment to the Board of Health for 6-year term.
Madam Chair, that's mine, and unfortunately, I need to table it again as well.
Okay, all right, you can make that in form of a motion.
I'd like to move that I table the appointment for the Board of Health for 6 years.
Thank you. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll move on to new business. This is the approval of the 2017 LMIG safety project.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, last meeting we talked about the list of roadways that we wanted to have you guys consider for approval for the big safety stripe. We actually were able to go back and add about 3 more roads to this list, and I think that will work fine. We've got the roads you listed here. We also added Primrose Road, which is 6.6 miles. We go to Center Line only on that. Todd Road, which is 3.1 miles. Mount Carmel Road, we looked at both the north and the south end, but decided on the south end because the north end is going to need resurfacing, and we want to really include that next year. So we're looking at about 49.5 miles of striping. The only ones that have the edge line is included is Gerald Road, and I think it's River Road, and then Mount Carmel South will have that. And those roads are wider. I've looked at some of the other roads, Terrell, and I've talked about it. The problem with the edge line striping is you have to move in off the edge of the pavement a little ways. And if you get a road that's so narrow, it is just difficult. And if there's anything the board wants to change, we can do that. I think that adding this additional mileage based upon calculations of historic value is going to come in very, very close to what our big dollars have to be. Our estimate is about $2,000 less than LeBig. And if we end up and it comes in, bids are consistent, we can probably add another road if we wanted to. So my recommendation would be to approve this list of roads, allow us to go ahead and send out bids and proposals to finish that project this year.
Here is the recommendation from Mr. Gay. Can we have a motion to approve the list for the restriping?
So,
We have a second.
second, Madam Chair.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is the approval of change order for the 2017 LMIG resurfacing project.
Yes, sir. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, I went ahead and brought this as a change order because I like to keep up with the project. This is like a $900,000 project that we're doing. First phase of it was the asphalt, where we come in and we do the leveling course. And in doing that, we calculated it based upon the width of the road and length of the road. Sometimes those are kind of hard to measure. when they go out and actually lay it down, we know exactly what it is. I do have the weight tickets for all of that, through the asphalt win there. This company's a good company, they're great to deal with. But we did have some additional asphalt. I think one of the roads was measured at 18, it turned out to be 20. There have been some distance issues on one, but they were estimates to start with. So this is what it is, and I did want to go ahead and ask you guys to approve that change order. I like to keep y'all up as things come with the contract. I don't want to wait till the end and say, oh, by the way, it's this amount of money. So the change order, the request would be to approve an additional total of $21,834.87 for asphalt. And you have a list of the roads here where we went over. Some we came under a little bit. And we'll try to do a little closer job on measuring in the future where we can be sure we get those numbers as close as we practically can.
So we're still hitting our 30% match pretty close?
Yes, sir, we are. We actually were a little bit under our 30% match.
So this just puts
Puts us a little bit over. We will probably run over a little bit that 30%. We always historically have. That's just our minimum. But we want to limit how much we run over because in a little while we're going to talk about next year's big and $700,000 worth of dollars we want to use for the state. So,
Madam Chair, I have a question. Just
Yes,
looking
ma'am.
at the chart, and you can get back with me later, the estimated tonnage on Trammell Bottom Road,
right.
and what we actually did?
Travel bottom. Yes, ma'am. The estimated tonnage was 665. Actually was 813.1. The total tonnage over was like 148.
And then on the other end, kind of balanced it out, where Strickland Town, we estimated a little bit more, but we didn't use it.
That's
So
right.
that kind of balanced everything back
It
out.
balanced a
Good.
lot of it out. You know,
Yeah.
what you do is you measure the width of the road, length of the road, depth of the asphalt.
Depth of the asphalt.
So if any of those things are off a little bit, it throws the numbers out. But that's why they're estimated quantities
Right.
and why we get the tickets to show exactly what to
Okay.
use.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can we have a motion to approve the change order for the Lamig resurfacing project?
So
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, next we have several budget amendments. We'll have 16 through 20, and we'll turn this over to Mr. Beal. I guess we do them each at one at a time?
We'll do one at a time and then just vote on all of them.
All of them together, okay.
These are special purpose revenue funds and fiduciary funds that are outside the scope of the general fund. The first one we'll look at is the jail fund. Of course, the revenue is generated from, fines and forfeitures that are collected through the Superior Probate and Magistrate Courts, and the funds are used to maintain the jail. We only got 1 month left in the fiscal year. We're estimating that we'll collect $50,000 for the jail fund this year. Next one, number 17, is for the law library that the probate court judge keeps. And again, that's funded through revenue from the fines as well in those 3 courts. And he uses those funds to buy updates to the books in the library that he has to have. And that's $5,000. Number 18, 911 fund, special revenue fund, and those are collected from cell phone and landline fees. The largest cost, cell phone fee from Verizon, and those funds are supposed to fund the EMS and the 911 call center. Of course, $300,000, that doesn't do a whole lot to cover those for them. Two funds. Number 19 is the drug awareness training and education program. Those are also funded through fines in the 3 courts and use state mandated items that the sheriff's office can use in that big fund. We were able to buy a vehicle in that fund this past year. The last one is the
tourism interest in the county, and that's collected from a tax applied to the hotel motel stays throughout the county. That's $5,000. Any questions on those?
No questions, can we have a motion to approve budget amendments 16 through 20?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. Next, we have recognition of Noah Bray, and we'll turn it over to Mr. Gay.
Ms. Betty, we ask Noah or his parents to please come forward. We, of course, you guys know Keith. He's our EMS director and works with us in public safety, and great guy. And he was, since I've been here, you know, Keith's always talked about his son and baseball, looking to play baseball. And this year, Noah received some really good awards. Noah was recognized as the Rookie of the Year in 2017 Manchester High School Baseball Rookie of the Year. He was also recognized as Player of the Year on Max Press, and that's a sports athletic site that recognizes achievements and a lot of talent coming in, and to receive both of those awards is just a great honor. And thought it would be good to have Noah come tonight and let the board express how proud y'all are, and how proud I know his parents are, and he's part of our Meriwether County family. And so just wanted to have him come and just recognize him and say thanks for all you do. And I think on top of that, it's a great job.
We need to get a picture.
You didn't say it. Y'all ever get in there?
Yeah, y'all get in there.
I tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't y'all stand up there? Y'all get right there.
I'll just let
I want y'all to see it, we'll stand behind y'all.
You hear me, John? Let me take a picture.
It takes you forever.
The Shirley Sue?
Really?
Stand up. Stand up. There we go. Stand up.
All right.
You want that on?
I still want it. All right, everybody on three. 1, 2, 3. Not like it, no.
My turn back.
I can fix it. All three. 1, 2, 3. All three. 1, 2, 3.
All right, now
Wait a minute,
we're real.
Brandon was one.
On 3. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. I'll send it to you.
I expect you to win a lot of games on round base.
That's right. You're just a just a freshman.
So we're expecting more good things out of
That's
you.
right.
Next, under new business, is the approval of contribution to participating municipalities in the Next Site 360 program.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, this is something that you guys have talked about. I know that many of you attended this Next Site 360 with Georgia Power, and it is, really a program to enhance, retail space and help the cities. And it's a good move by the board. We talked about it, and you guys asked if the county could participate with the cities. So we talked to all the board members and wanted to really bring back and confirm tonight. This is a program that costs the cities $2,500 a year for a 3-year period. And the commissioners have talked about adding and contributing to that by providing $1,000 a year toward each participating city for the 3-year period. And I have spoken to all the cities, and it looks like right now that possibly every city is going to participate with the possibility of one. And that's because of their limited retail, but they still might. They still haven't had a chance to talk about it. But I think the board's contribution was kind of a game changer for some of them, because I think they were weighing about whether or not they could afford to do that. But I think the contribution from the county back toward those really made a difference. And again, as we move into our comprehensive plan and the process of working together, and I told some of you guys that I thought that was a really good move. I know Bill had recommended it as well. I thought it was a really good move in showing the unity of this county and the unity that you guys are trying to build with the various cities. And they were very appreciative of that. I know we've got some mayors here tonight, and I've spoken to every city, and they're very appreciative of the offer of the board. So our recommendation would be to approve a $1,000 a year per city on those cities that commit for the 3-year period to offset those costs.
Hearing this recommendation from Mr. Gay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now number 10, these are the items that we added to the agenda, the lease agreement with Luthersville for the fire department.
Chair, would begin the process of working together, and the mayor's here tonight. We actually received the executed lease back on the fire station site in the city of Luthersville, and I would ask for the board's acceptance of this with final review by the county attorney. And the city of Lone Oak has also told me they have approved it as well. I'll be getting that and picking that up soon.
Okay, all right.
So,
All right, hearing this recommendation regarding the lease agreement, we have a motion to approve it pending the approval of our county attorney.
So moved, Madam Chair.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Good.
okay, thank you.
Next is the right of entry on Joe Anthony Road.
This is from Mr. Ernest Lynn. He owns property on Joe Anthony Road. We've had a drainage issue there in South Mount Carmel Road, and water stands. And what we need to do is go in, clean out some piping, and cut a tail ditch over onto his property to be able to correct the trail that we talked about it and looked at it. And I would recommend acceptance by the board of this document, allow us to be able to enter that property to, for one time, to clean out this ditch. This work.
All right, hearing the motion from Mr. Gay, do we have a motion to approve the right of entry on Joe Anthony Road for some repairs?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
Next is the deed to the IDA conveying 20.067 acres of land.
Chairman, Commissioners, we're in the process, of course, announcement's already been made about the new industry that's coming, here to Meriwether County and to Greenville Industrial Park. And they're trying to close on that property tomorrow, so we'll get it back with the tax digest and get everything started on it. And as I mentioned to you guys before, one of the first orders of business is to have y'all convey this property over to the Development Authority. We do have a deed here tonight, which ready to ask you guys to approve it. Talk to the county attorney about it. It will be forwarded to the attorney for the Development Authority, and they will go through the closing process tomorrow. So we recommend that the board approve this for the chairman's signature.
All right, we have a motion to approve the deed to the IDA conveying the 20.067 acres for the new business and allowing the chair to sign.
So moved, Madam Chair.
All right, second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, next is the request for assistance for the census program.
We have census is just about to get kicked off. In fact, Alice has been gathering some stuff that I've had this week that I needed to get out to Ron about the census. And today we received some information from Three Rivers. The first order of business you do is you have to do what they call a LUCA program, which is certified addresses. And Three Rivers is advising that we'll send the documents to them. They will help us with that process, which is good. They've got a lot more staff and a lot more technology than we do right now. So my recommendation would be that we request their assistance in this first stage of the census program and authorize us to release them to be able to receive the documentation.
Okay, this is Three Rivers.
Three Rivers.
Okay. All right, can we have a motion to approve a request for assistance to Three Rivers for their help with the census program?
So,
We have a second? Second. All in favor? Next is number 14. This is a change order on resurfacing.
Chairman, Commissioners, I had brought to y'all's attention, we had a road that was in very, very bad shape out on Dunn Road, and Tyrell and myself went out with the contractor to take a look at it. And there were also two more roads that we talked about, possibly included, that were very short roads but needed some work. One was Harmon Road, with level and surface treatment. That road ends up running about almost $36,000 to add. I think there are residents on there, but I know that's in Commissioner Bray's district. We've talked about that. The other one is at Bronze Drive. It serves, I think, a church and has a considerable amount of traffic. It's about $20,000 to be able to add to the contract. The Dunn patching was about $63,000. I've asked the contractor to look at that again to see if we can come up with a less expensive option for that. So the question tonight is to consider whether or not we really want to add Harmon Road and Bronze Road, or do we want to go ahead and do one or both now, or do we want to add it to our upcoming bidding, which I want to talk about in just a few minutes. That will be something that I want to put together this year, but we will not be able to accomplish that paving or resurfacing until next year. So the question is, really is Dunn Road, I'm asking you guys to hold that till I get some different options. So Harmon Road and Bronze Drive. And Ms. Mayor, I know you and I talked a little bit about that today.
We have, and I know that the gentleman has been in here before, the commissioner also. My only objection is if we do that would be one of the first roads on the list. We will take first priority for next year.
Okay.
That's the same with Dunn Road. I mean,
Right.
It's been completely torn up, but it's such a long road, it would be more than that 60,000.
Right.
I think when time comes, so.
It will. That's
I would
just
just ask, that would be, it'd be right behind Miss Mary's Road for next year on that. And the
All right.
Bronze Drive, I mean, I knew we had been down and looked at it. It is a
Yeah.
short road. There is a lot of traffic on that short amount of road.
Right.
If we can add it in there, I would like to. If not, if we have to pass it on to next year, that would be okay too, but if we could manage to get that taken care of this year, that would be great, so.
Y'all want to do that and add the other road into the,
With the circumstances that it will be taken first priority.
we'll put it on the agenda, and we'll put it on the list of roads along with Dunn Road, and I think there's another road or so we talked about too. Tyrell's in the process of working up some roads for you guys for next year. And we'll put those on the priority. In fact, when I say next year, it's really going to be over the next month.
Yeah.
Is when it's
I was
coming
gonna say
up.
it's coming
And
up,
we're going to bring it back, okay? So if the board is interested in doing just bronze, I will get we can just approve the items 4, 5, and 6 on the proposal and contract. That would include just Bronze Road. And then we'll put those others onto the bid for the 2008, for fiscal year 2018.
Madam Chair, I do have a question. So that still keeps us within the amount that we need to cover. It does not take us over our portion.
You're going to probably be a little over your portion anyway.
Okay.
It's always hard to hit right at that
Yeah, I
30.
understand that.
You just don't want to go too much over that 30, because next year, see, we got a $700,000 project coming, and it's going to take, calculate in my head anymore. It's going to take a little bit of dollars to be able to do that. So $700,000. So it's going to take $300,000 worth of contribution next year to be able to match that program. Plus, we've got,
What, you said 700,000?
yes,
And 30%?
we got to match 30%.
Oh, we got to match this. It's gonna be, okay.
They'll pay 70%.
Okay, so 700, okay, all right.
And then on top of that, we've got about 45,000 we've got to match with the strike.
With the strike.
That's coming on that. So, we just don't want to get down to the end and not be able to take advantage of all the.
Okay. All right, here in this recommendation, we have a motion to add the Bronze Drive resurfacing project to this year's resurfacing.
I move we go ahead with it.
All right, have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, next we move to Mr. Bill and the finance report.
You got the bank balance report in front of you. General fund still pretty strong. We're hold out as long as we can. And rest of them haven't really changed that much. I know we hadn't talked about the landfill count that much recently, but it's on our list to try to get something taken care of that on that account.
We still have some more information on the host thing that we're working on as well. Understand that.
Did you have any
Now,
questions?
which landfill are you, I thought you were talking about our landfill.
He is, yeah, I was just bringing it up that we
Oh,
still
okay.
have
Yeah, all right.
some other
Changing
business
gears.
to talk about.
Confused me.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll have a report from Mr. Gay.
Okay. Sure, thank you. Wanted to update, I know Ms. Mary was calling me, was very interested in these culverts, and did receive a note today that Montgomery and Graham Road, they had to order the precast culverts, and the note from the contractor indicated that they'll be delivering the culverts to Graham Road this week, and that they are anticipating, based upon our timeline, having both of these roads done by mid-October. So that will be good. Now, in addition to that, today I received a note from the engineer saying our core permits and all are moving forward. It's looking really good to be able to move forward with Max Scott and Graham Road. Max Scott and Justin Bullock Road. And so I've already got draft deeds prepared on that. I made some contact with the property owners. I'll go ahead and proceed with that. And we'll be setting up a time to put the letting package together and get those out. So we'll have those roads moving forward as well.
Will that be the last two then, with any of the ones from the flood?
Be the last two. And we'll be through with all of that. So that'll be it. Great.
Because that'll be, what, 2 years ago when it
2
happened?
years ago.
December?
How close are you to getting that approximately $4 million?
We're gonna be right on top of
Right on
it.
top of it.
Get through it. But, and the process has taken long, but the problem is, without going through the process, we wouldn't have been able to, receive the federal funding, or state funding.
And we couldn't have done it.
We
We
couldn't
didn't have
have done
$4
it.
million
That's right.
to do this, and that's what I'm trying to tell some people. It does take a long time to
Right.
navigate their processes, but $4 million, most of these roads may have stayed undone for a while.
And, that's, I don't think we'll ever have to address these 4 roads again. Okay? So we'll repairs we're making. So, want to mention that to you guys. Also, wanted to show you a picture of our new gate at Lake Meriwether. Our new gate, new security gate. Robert's very proud of that. We don't have power to it yet, but power is coming. I've got to get with,
He's there in the truck, isn't he?
he's there in the truck, that's right. He just moves from one side to the other, But we're gonna get power out there soon. We've got to build the meter box, and I'll get with our county staff on that this week. So, and we paid partial for that. We held back until we get everything operating. We got 90% of it done already, so.
So they want us to build the meter box themselves.
That's right. They want us to build Georgia
And all
Power.
they want to do is drop power to it.
Drop power to it, we'll put a conduit into the other little box that goes with the gate, and he will come and connect that, so we'll have all of that taken care of. Okay? Wanted to just talk briefly with you guys about something that came up at the last meeting, and that was I think maybe turned into surplus. It actually was excess funds the county had received through the tax commissioner's office, and was brought to the county. So I have met with the tax commissioner on that. This goes back overall. There's 2 sets of funds. There are funds that came in under bankruptcy. Okay, and the bankruptcy funds were collected and placed into an account, but back 20 years ago, which this goes back to, the then tax commissioner did not accept any partial payments. So what he did was he put it into an account and made notes and kept records of, during that period of time, of what the bankruptcy dollars were for. Out of the 90 plus thousand, probably 30 of it was those bankruptcy funds. Those are funds that would have come to the county anyway. In fact, I would say the county probably should have got more funds, because when it went into bankruptcy, you probably didn't get the full payment anyway. So those are funds that would have come to the county. The other funds are what is known as excess funds. And what happens with that is you have a tax sale, and you owe $1,000 in taxes to the county. When it goes before the courthouse steps and it's bid on, people may bid more than that. So they may bid $2,000 for it. So the county then has $1,000 for our taxes that are due. Then you are to notify the owner whose property was being sold, plus all the lien holders within 30 days of the fact that there are excess dollars in this. So back to my example, $1,000 owed, somebody bids it in, buys it for $2,000. There's $1,000 that go into the list on excess funds. You notify those people by certified mail, and I think they have all been, and they then have the opportunity to come in. If you get into a dispute with them and, say, lien holders on who's owed what, then it goes before the courts. The county attorney can file an action in the court, and the judge can then decide how you divide up that piece of pie. But what's happened with this is it's long-standing. The list here goes from 2004 to maybe there's one in 2009. And the current tax commissioner is really trying to clean up a lot of old records that she has. And of course, she has a new list too that's more current, and she's working on those. Those are easier to deal with. But what we've talked about doing is just trying to clean all of this up. Ultimately, when it gets to be excess funds, and we can't determine that it's here or there, the state of Georgia has some claim to those funds once they become excess. So we have a list, and I'll be glad to provide you guys with a list of this, of people who were on that scenario. Now, I don't know whether they are still living here, still living at all. If somebody's passed away, then their heirs have to go through the courts to be able to prove that they're there. You have to address the issue of any liens on the property. But that's how this list became to be. And it's about $60,000, because we said the others were foreclosures. And every attempt is out there to try to locate these people, but the tax commissioner's office has done all they can do. They have sent the certified letters years ago. Nobody's responded. And I know it was suggested that maybe what we do, and I'd like to go with Susan and the tax commissioner, is maybe we put an ad in the paper saying, hey, there's an excess funds. You might want to, maybe we can list this owner, this list of names somewhere, and reference them to there and say, hey, if your name is on this list, contact the tax commissioner, because she says if they come in, she'll certainly refund it if they can show there's no liens and everything is there. Talked to another friend of mine who's been a tax commissioner for years, and he says they normally do this, and he says they try to get it out within 30 days, and they try to resolve all of it within a 4 or 5 year period. Again, this is something that has gone on for 20 years, and it really was an issue of her trying to catch up with, get all of her records straight, because I know she wants to be very responsible for the office, but some of this is out of her control, and she's trying very desperately, I think, to clean it up, and, we've talked to her, and, she's been very willing to try to work with us any way we can. So I wanted to explain that to you guys. Word got out of the surplus and all of this and all of that, that why wasn't it discussed more? It was discussed in an open meeting, in a public forum, and you guys asked for additional information, which we were getting, and that's what we have tonight. So we've got a list of names that were in that excess fund, And this was simply when someone bought the property in and paid more for it than was owed in taxes. And if we can identify the owners, fine. If not, we'll need to address how we, move the funds forward. Some of them will certainly probably need to go to the state, but we will talk to maybe our auditors on that as well. So if the board is fine with it, what we can do, and I'll get with Susan, we can put an ad in the paper just saying, hey, we have a list of excess properties. If your name is on this list, you may want to contact the tax commissioner's office.
I have one question.
Okay.
I really listen to you. I listen to you pretty closely, but sometimes I don't quite follow. The former tax commissioner would not take a partial payment.
That's
what
right.
you said.
Yes, sir.
So the funds that came in as a partial payment, he just put them in escrow?
The reason they wouldn't do that is because the computer program they had would not accept partial payments.
Okay, so since it couldn't accept partial payment, he just put it, or he or she just put it in
Put it
escrow?
in a bank account.
Right.
And kept manual records,
Kept notes of it.
name and amount of money.
So really and truly, it is tax money?
Yes, it was tax money. And as I said earlier, if it had not been under bankruptcy, we'd probably have more dollars out of it. Because usually bankruptcy, you only get a portion of what's owed. So those dollars are, to me, very clearly owed to the county, probably plus some. And these are excess funds where people pay more, and state law governs what happens with it. And so everything was done properly. It just wasn't necessarily timely, and that's really not the current tax commissioner's issue. She's trying hard to be able to correct that and make it up. So, any other questions on this?
I'd just like for it to be explained. Perhaps, Johnny, if you can help us with this in the paper a little more clearly, because it did bring up questions, and like I said, maybe the wrong term was used as surplus, because it really was not surplus. But, and like I said, if we do whatever we want to do to get people to come check and see if their name's on the list. I mean, we looked at the list. I know Miss Mary and I did, but some of them are owed $2.78. I mean, but there are some that are larger amounts too.
I think Susan would probably have to, Susan, wouldn't we be better off rather than running that, just run on legal and like
Well, absolutely, a public
for a certain
notice.
amount of
Yeah.
time and just say this is where the list is?
I think it needs to go in the legal section.
Yeah.
And what we can do is, if Mr. Johnny wants, we can kind of write up a short narrative to go with this,
Yes,
explain
right.
what the issue is, because it is complicated. And we can explain that and send it, and then that along with, with the legal ad, should take care. We would have, by that point in time, it would actually gone over and above what we have to do, just to try to be sure that we get this issue
Well,
resolved.
then I agree, we just file it with the Superior Court judge and let him determine where the funds are going to go.
Right. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that issue for you guys. So a couple other things that I'm gonna try to move forward pretty quickly here. This Friday, 9 o'clock, I've talked to GDOT. We have a state transportation improvement meeting here at 9 o'clock. They're gonna come and just talk about their plans for the next few years in the state program. And invite the cities as well, if they're interested in coming. It'll be 9 o'clock right here, and just be us, the cities, if they want to come, and we'll just hear a report from GDOT on what projects they're looking to do in our county for the future. And as I mentioned earlier, the LMIG, the LMIG from 2018, $700,000 and some change is what we're looking at. Tyrell's going to be putting together a list of roads for y'all's consideration. We know a couple roads we want on there definitely tonight, so we'll get those on there the very first, and we'll have that going. But I do want y'all to be thinking about that, because I'd like to, as Bill said, in the next month, I'd like to have that out and send back to GDOT for approval too. And maybe they'll go ahead and send us our monies there as well. September the 8th, here in this room, I think starting, it's at 9, Carolyn, we're going to do the Lake Meriwether presentation. It's September the 8th for Leadership Meriwether. Yeah, and we'll have that here in this room. In our September work session, we're going to need to start talking about our comp plan. So I'll be talking to you guys about that. Do have tonight a revised layout of our fire stations that I'd like to give to you guys. This is a layout that included a more interior storage space or closet.
This is one for the closets, yeah.
And so that is that. I've heard, feedback from one person who said, well, y'all changed the sign, y'all are gonna have little warning on both ends, but that's not the case. And attached to the back of this is the example that we did in the public presentations. It shows the prototype building. This is the drawings of that. The surveys, I know Bill has forwarded those all over to our architects, sent them to the engineers, and we're going to push very hard to get these things out and let, along with our fire trucks here, very soon when we can move this process forward. So I wanted to give y'all an update on that. And Madam Chairman, that's all I have tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll have reports from our county commissioners. Commissioner Brayhill.
I don't have any.
Commissioner Bray.
Well, I do. Last time I reported that the Georgia Little League played in Warner Robinson. I want to say that they did come in second place. Today, they are being honored at the Braves game. And what actually, Jace Blaylock is a resident of Meriwether County. He stays in Zion Hill. So he was invited to hit that home run again. And just to let you know, it was on the radio, he did hit it out of the state.
Oh.
Wow.
We need to bring him here and recognize him. He's from Meriwether County.
He is Meriwether. He actually goes to school, Peachtree City Christian School, but he is a resident of Meriwether County.
Get him down, we'll honor him.
That's great.
That's okay.
I just have one thing, Miss Jane is not here tonight, and just want to remind you that the Keep Meriwether Beautiful meeting will be this Friday at 9:30. And it's here too, so I'm not exactly sure who will be meeting where, but it'll be in this building. Huh?
Commissioner McCoy.
I had just a couple of things I want to run over here. 911 is coming up here, September the 11th, and I had mentioned to you before that the Masonic Lodge and the American Legion will be hosting a dinner for all of our first responders. Everybody involved in that activity should come out and get a meal. I have a real human interest story here, Madam Chair, I want to share with folks. I had a report yesterday that chickens do head for the roost during a solar eclipse. It has been proven right here in Meriwether County. All right, getting on to some more serious stuff. Andrews Mill Road, there's a washout down there. Has anybody reported that, Tyrell? It was on my phone when I got home.
It's occurred.
You've taken care of it this morning. Good deal. I didn't get a chance to drive there, so that's good. As far as getting the forms, I've just about completed those for the covered bridge to set the pedestal on. I should have that this week. Let me see. That was, well, and again, I did go up and participate with Sean at the animal shelter. That was, enjoyed that. Very good. I just didn't realize it was screen on the green. I'm gonna have to remember that. Right, that's all I had to do.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Hines.
I do have some things to share. First of all, I want to commend this board for doing and assisting the cities who will take advantage of Nexus 360. That is a big step. Once again, it shows the support of this board to help Meriwether County grow. So I applaud the board as well, and definitely those cities who would take advantage of it. At times, you may not see the importance of things, but this is long-term. And hopefully all the cities and towns in Meriwether County would take advantage of this opportunity, even though they may not have a town as of yet, but this is to give you an idea of what the future could possibly hold. So once again, I appreciate the board doing what it has done on this. The other thing Carolyn just brought to us about Macon County and their quarterly meeting, there are a lot of counties that do this. True County does the same thing. It's called strategic planning. I think it's a great idea. Once again, maybe we can look at this to talk about all the different resources and options that are out there. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. The last thing is I had an opportunity to attend a meeting
that was hosted by the school board. It was a focus meeting. It was to talk about the image of Meriwether County School District. It was a very well-attended meeting, and there were some good things that were discussed out of that. Once again, we felt like there are a lot of good things going on in our school district that never tends to get out in the public. So they're potentially looking at a marketing/PR firm to come and look at and how they can assist. So if the school board, I understand, is looking to do this, they've not voted on it, but if they do decide to do it, I think it would be a really good thing for our county as well. So just wanted to share that tidbit with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our county attorney.
I don't have anything. We do need an executive session to discuss legal, personnel, and real estate matters.
All right, we come now to time for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to say anything, if you'll come to the podium and give us your name and address, we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. All right, since we will have an executive session, let me go ahead and give you our future meetings. The offices will be closed September the 4th for Labor Day. Our 9 a.m. Wednesday meeting is September the 13th. And following that will be the public hearing for the millage rate. September the 26th will be a public hearing for the budget at 4:30. And September the 26th at 6 p.m. will be our regular meeting. You're welcome to stay until we get through with the executive session. If not, we appreciate you coming tonight, and we hope that you'll have a safe trip home. Can we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? All right, we're in executive session.